Throughout history, the Ottoman Empire was a realm of vast power and grand legacy, with sultans who ruled empires and commanded armies. But behind this masculine facade lay the true heart of the empire, the Imperial Harem. Here, the Sultanate of Women was born, a phenomenon that would forever reshape the politics and society of one of the world's most powerful empires. This was no ordinary harem. The women here weren't merely companions, they were the strategists, the politicians, and the advisors who ensured the empire's survival. At the head of this complex institution was the Valite Sultan, the Sultan's mother, whose influence rivaled that of her sons. The Valite was not only the mother of the ruler, she was the gatekeeper of the dynasty, wielding authority that extended well beyond family matters and into the very fabric of Ottoman politics. But with power came peril. The Ottoman court was governed by the brutal law of fratricide, a policy where a newly crowned sultan could execute his brothers to prevent civil war and secure his rule. In this high-stakes world, the women of the harem were bound to this deadly policy, where every birth could spell life or death, and alliances within the harem were often a matter of survival. To understand the Sultanate of Women, we must first understand the structure of the harem. At the top sat the Valite Sultan, an office that came with a near-royal status and responsibility. When a new sultan took the throne, his mother would become Valite, overseeing the harem, its hierarchy, and even influencing the empire's most critical decisions. Her authority was absolute within these walls, setting alliances, choosing the sultan's consorts, and appointing the concubines, the highest-ranking concubines. The Valite Sultan was more than a maternal figure. She was a strategist, aware that every move she made shaped the future of her dynasty. Each Valite chose women who could support the empire by producing heirs, creating alliances, and even assisting with matters of statecraft. Among these carefully selected women, the favorite concubines, or cadins, held unique influence. These cadins weren't just lovers, they were, in essence, the empire's shadow advisors, sometimes taking on diplomatic roles themselves, or serving as mentors to future rulers. The harem wasn't accessible to just anyone. Guarding these powerful women and the sultan's secrets were the eunuchs, trusted slaves trained to uphold the harem's impenetrable security. Chief among them was the Kizlar Aga, the black eunuch who commanded unparalleled authority within the palace. He controlled access to the harem and served as the only male who could interact with the women inside. Under him was the Kapi Aga, or white eunuch, who managed the harem's entry points and secured the imperial family's secrets. These eunuchs held delicate positions, simultaneously protectors, advisors, and even occasional meddlers in the empire's complex politics. Among the many powerful figures, there were a few whose influence transcended even the strictest traditions of the Ottoman court. Chief among them was Hurrem Sultan. Born as Roxolana, a Christian slave from Eastern Europe, she entered the harem as a concubine. But she was no ordinary concubine. Hurrem was fiercely intelligent, charismatic, and politically shrewd. She quickly became the favorite of Suleiman the Magnificent, and against all precedent, he made her his legal wife, granting her unprecedented influence. Hurrem wasn't content with the traditional limits imposed on women in the harem. She began to involve herself in matters of state, offering counsel to Suleiman and even corresponding with European rulers. She championed the education of her children, preparing them to assume powerful roles in the empire. Hurrem's influence led to a significant shift in Ottoman tradition. She opened the door for women of the harem to wield power as never before, turning the concept of the Sultanate of Women from a rare occurrence into a fixture of Ottoman politics. Following Hurrem's example was her daughter, Mirima Sultan. Raised in the midst of courtly power struggles and political negotiations, Mirima grew into a strategist as formidable as her mother. She not only maintained a close bond with her father, Suleiman, but also counseled her brother, Selim II, when he took the throne. While many saw the Sultan's sister as merely a figurehead, Mirima deftly involved herself in diplomacy, military planning, and infrastructure projects across the empire. Through her, the Ottoman court began to see the true strength of educated and politically savvy women. Yet it was Kosem Sultan who took the Sultanate of Women to its zenith. Kosem entered the harem as a concubine, but she rose to power as the mother of Murad IV. When her young son ascended to the throne, Kosem effectively became the regent, ruling in his stead. Kosem wasn't content with mere influence. She openly engaged in state affairs, conducted negotiations, and even led military efforts by proxy. She set a precedent by extending her regency, becoming the power behind the throne for her grandsons as well. Her dominance wasn't without risk. Kosem navigated deadly rivalries and outlived many of her opponents. Her name became synonymous with both resilience and ambition. By the time of her death, she had created an indelible legacy in the empire's history, proving that the Sultanate of Women was here to stay. Mirima Sultan and Safi Sultan, two formidable figures who followed Kosem, further expanded the role of Ottoman women in international politics. Mirima, the Venetian-born consort of Selim II, wielded her diplomatic ties with the West to the empire's advantage, advising on foreign policy and making herself indispensable in court. Her daughter-in-law, Safiye, continued this legacy, forging connections with European courts that transformed the Ottomans' approach to foreign relations. They were diplomats as much as they were family, ensuring that the Sultanate of Women maintained its far-reaching influence. And it all began with Hafsa Sultan, the first recognized Valite Sultan, the mother of Suleiman the Magnificent. Hafsa redefined the role of a sultan's mother, using her position to advise her son and oversee court dynamics with a wisdom born of political necessity. She forged the framework for the Sultanate of Women by establishing a legacy that proved essential to the empire's stability. These remarkable women reshaped the Ottoman Empire, proving that political power could come from behind veils and within guarded chambers. The Sultanate of Women wasn't just a series of individual stories. It was a testament to a matriarchal institution that supported and sustained an empire for over a century. From Harem's political acumen to Kosem's enduring resilience, from Mirima's diplomacy to Safiye's and Nurbanu's foreign policy innovations, the legacy of these women defied the limits imposed by their society. The Sultanate of Women ultimately demonstrated that true power didn't always sit on the throne. It could thrive in the shadows, influencing an empire generation by generation. And so, behind every great Ottoman Sultan was a woman who understood the game, who shaped destinies, and who preserved the empire from within its most guarded halls. If you're captivated by stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Ancient Perspectives for more epic tales of history's greatest figures and moments. Hit the bell icon to never miss an adventure into the past.